Oh, and welcome everyone to the fourth edition of Out of the Ordinary, profiling the extraordinary journeys of ordinary people. Not that young Jack here is anyway ordinary, most out of the ordinary. Try to imagine a trickster god, perhaps like Loki, but much more X-rated, with a plethora more perversions and well, he's from up north. What do you expect? So, Jack, just a little recap. Whereabouts in England are you from?
I'm actually from Bradford, but
Right.
I currently reside in Manchester because Bradford is a cesspool. And I like it's kind of like one of those things, isn't it? I mean, we all started as amoeba coming from the ocean, but why the fuck will we moonwalk back into being fucking amoeba? It's a great place to be from, not to de-evolve back to.
As Barney from The Simpsons said, millions and millions of years ago, we were single-cell amoebas who could reproduce asexually. We were men back then.
And I suppose the funniest thing about all this is we were asexual, reproducing by ourselves. Then we decided to split into two genders, and now we've gone full swing straight back to being asexual and fucking ourselves.
Well, you say that, but so you're definitely not one of those people who subscribe to the 176 gender theory.
Oh, I totally do. No, I totally prescribe to all of that fucking nonsense. No, I really do. It's just when I weigh in on any of these sort of conversations, they're not willing to entertain my bullshit. I think my favourite thing was aromatic gender, and it's like, I'm sure that's a spice. I mean, come on, man. We all joked about the fucking attack helicopter thing, but these motherfuckers took it too far.
Right.
It's like, how can you compete with someone who fucking gender identifies as fucking Basil?
It was like, do you remember Nursey from Blackadder? Oh, that's not my real name. Well, what is your real name? Bernard. But saying that, Jack, I remember this was years ago, before trolling feminists was fashionable, and you really took. I mean, she was totally crazy, feminist, progressive. You really took her to task. You were very moderated, and you gave her enough rope, and you came back and she got pissed off because literally every comment you finished with drops mic. And everyone just stopped, pulled back, and let you because you just done so. When I say pull back, I don't mean in the foreskin version of things. Saying that, I'm having really bad trouble at the moment with mine, but
that's just my motto.
Yeah.
I may pull back, I never pull out.
Well, no, I'm having trouble pulling back at the moment. I think it's called phimosis, shrinkage of the foreskin. I mean, I've always been very proud of my foreskin. I sort of, it's like having a convertible, isn't it? You can have the sunroof up or down. So,
Well, this is the thing. I used to have the sunroof until a spot of dangerous driving, and I had my sunroof damaged in such a way that I had to have it removed.
you had an accident. What did you say? Driving? A driving accident?
Well, I'm using an analogy here. What I had was some dry anal, and the dry anal busted my penis in such a way.
No, you're shitting me.
Walk into the doctors and get the short back and sides.
Right. Right. And how long ago was that, Jack?
5 years. 5 years ago, they said to me, "Oh, don't worry." Well, originally they were like, "Well, we can either knock you out or we can just numb the area." I was like, "Oh, I've got shit to do, mate. Just numb the area." Like, yeah.
And they went,
just take the cunt off. It's right.
Right. Fucking fantastic, mate.
The worst bit about it is I was laid there, and they put a little fucking gown up so I couldn't see my cock being mutilated. I was like, oh, isn't that nice? And I sort of looked over and in the reflection of the metal cabinet, I saw them mutilating my cock. I was like, oh, fuck. I rolled over to the other side and I looked and I could see in the reflection of the window, them mutilating my cock. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I just looked up and in the reflection of the little light, I saw them mutilating my cock.
Did you catch a selfie? Did you do a selfie or?
No, it wasn't that sort of thing, mate. Like, if I thought I could have got away with it, after they'd done it, I was like, can I keep it?
Right.
Like, well, no, because it's medical waste. I was like,
right.
That is not medical waste. That is a fucking warrior.
Yeah,
that deserves a Viking burial for what it's been through.
Well, I think you probably heard on the first. I can imagine you shooting flaming arrows at your foreskin as it floats down the fucking River Tyne.
Like playing the horns.
Oh, don't too much. Some poor little pond dweller, some frog might find it and sit in it like one of those inflatable hoops and have a beer.
But yeah, man, it's really unusual getting used to a new penis.
Yeah, go on. So what? $1 million question.
The car thing, it's like driving an entirely new car. It's like going from automatic to fucking manual.
Yeah.
Your dick doesn't work how you expect it to work anymore. It's got new attachments. It's got Wi-Fi.
No, but seriously, $1 million question. $1 million question. What everyone is thinking. It's like, is it Silesius? I might be pronouncing that wrong. It's a Greek. What are the ones who tell prophecies? Oracle. A Greek oracle that is converted from a male to a female by the gods. And then when Zeus and Hera argue who has the most sexual pleasure from intercourse, Zeus says it's the women, Hera says it's the females, the males, and they say the only person we can ask is Silesius because she has been both a male and a female. So you've had a foreskin and you've not had a foreskin, and which is the best? That's the $1 million question for you, Jack.
I'm going to say the first one. I liked having a foreskin. Right. It was cool. Me and my foreskin were pretty tight. I always used to give me
well, there's that product called
if you have a really baggy foreskin, it's what you can keep your change. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'd do also. I'd push it together and make little faces and stuff like all the loose skin, or you could sort of because one girl said to me, I prefer circumcised. So I said, oh, well, hang on a minute. I turned me back, pulled the foreskin back, and turned back round. Ta-da!
The convertible effect.
Yeah, exactly. The convertible effect. The convertible effect.
I like a car with no roof. I can accommodate.
but what was I going to say? You always, you probably, I probably could maybe take you to task on how much porn you've watched. My hours might clock up a little bit more than yours, but with people without foreskins, they've always got some weird technique. Like usually you've got a foreskin, just back and forth, and then you come. But people without foreskins, you've got to grab it and move like almost like they're working some sort of hand lathe.
Well, that's the thing with me, David. Way before I even had it, before I had the short back and sides, I was always a freak then. So the technique hasn't really changed. It's still the old fire extinguisher up the arse technique.
Fire extinguisher up the arse. What do they call that?
Not one of the big ones. I'm not a weirdo.
What do they call that? Abseiling, because the act of putting your dildo up your arse and wanking is much like the movement that you make when you're abseiling down the side of a mountain. Right. So, Jack, I know you're from. You said you're currently in Manchester. So, does that mean you're unemployed? Most of them are unemployed up there, are they? What are you currently doing?
Jacking it with a fire extinguisher. Apparently.
Right. So you make most of your money on Patreon.
As a buyer for a cash generator, which is just hell, mate. It really is like Shameless, the TV show. And the thing is, I'm poor. I'm really, really poor, but I hate the poor. Not like there's like one of the greatest things that one of the terrible things that we were taught is that the Tories created this whole thing of the two-tier system, which is poor people and rich people. But in a way, they taught the poor people to hate poor people. And do you know what? I hate the Tories, but I actually hate poor people as well.
Right.
We have a big homeless problem here. And do you know what? I will try and help the homeless whenever I can, because I've been homeless. It really fucking sucked. It really fucking sucked. And the people who come in my shop are just fucking appalling. They're not thankful. I don't want them to come in and suck my dick. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, oh, can I have some money? Yeah, you take that fucking big tongue of yours and stick it on. I don't want that. I'm not a fucking heathen. You know, if they want to do that, that's their business. Yeah. But I don't want them to do it for money, you know, unless I'm seeking them first, in which case that's a business deal. That's a different thing.
Right.
No. When they come in, I've had some of the most fucking rude people come into the shop talking about how, oh, well, this is a fucking £200 this and a £200 that, and then I'll see them out on the street where I work begging for money, and it's like, your shit in your hand is more worth more than what I'm wearing right now. You can fuck the fuck off.
So what is it? What you sound? It sounds like a pawn shop. You take money for people bring things in, and you take it off and give them money for it.
Yeah, man. Some of it's really funny.
What you were just saying reminded me of that joke. It's very politically incorrect, but I think we've gone beyond that already from laughing stuff.
Political correctness is just another term for bollocks.
Yeah. What was it? Carlin said political correctness is fascism dressed as manners. But it reminds me of the joke. There's a guy driving along this car, and there's what seems to be an immigrant guy crouching down on the road, and obviously he's so hungry he's eating grass. He's pulling up lumps of grass and he's eating the grass, and the guy just has to pull over, and he says to him, "Look, mate, look, I really feel for you. Get in the back of the car, come back to my place. You know, someone who's obviously going to put his money where his mouth is, not like Lily Allen, for example." So the guy looks a bit hopeful and says, "Thanks ever so much." He said, "Can I bring my family?" So the guy says, "Fuck off, I've only got a small lawn."
I wanted to ask you this, right? Because I know you ask all the questions. What is your fucking take on Russell Brand? Go on, man. He's dipped out of the media headlights for a little while, but he came up in topic of conversation.
Yeah.
The topic of conversation came up when, do you know when he was doing his whole gambit on fucking politics, and people started taking the piss out of him with the park life thing. Yeah. And he ruined the joke by releasing him doing park life. What kind of cunt does that? What kind of cunt fucking does that? Anyway, what's your take on him?
I do think he's a complete cunt. I think he's, but saying that, I do have that. It stayed with me for such a long time when he gave that guy a blowjob in the toilet. The footage of that. I mean, I know you didn't quite actually see the footage of him giving the blow, but you knew exactly what had happened.
Right.
I mean, this is going back quite a few years. I mean, very many years. But when he was addicted to what was it? I think it was crack. I think he was getting a rock of crack, and he gave the guy a blowjob in a toilet cubicle.
I mean, we've all been there.
Exactly. Yeah, but listen, we've all been there. But we then don't go on to proclaim that we're the next Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? He's just so fucking.
This is the thing of it. The last Jesus Christ was a carpenter. The new Jesus Christ sucks dick for crack rock. I mean, it's
and the new Jesus Christ is still working with wood. No, I just the grandiose things he come. The Sam Harris interview was an embarrassment, and the Peterson one was a little bit better. But it doesn't, like you were saying about, you hate the poor. There is that old adage, you don't, and I think it applies very much to Russell Brand. It's not so much that you hate, that you care for the poor, that you want to help the poor. It's just that you hate the rich. Now, because he is one of the rich, I think there's a sort of self-loathing, guilt thing. But obviously, he doesn't want to give any of it up. It's like, yeah, if you want to preach that, the social justice thing and white privilege, and then give all your fucking money up and go and show us, be the change you want to see, Russell. Don't fucking come on and make me feel guilty because I just spent 20 quid on the first appearance of Dakin from fucking Wolverine.
He's like those cunts on fucking Red Nose. You know the whole, give all your money. Why don't you give your fucking money? You don't have any money. Give me your money to give to you, you fucking cunt.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I kind of feel like, and this is the big fucking controversial at the moment, Tommy Robinson is like the right wing's Russell Brand because he's also got a really shit hairdo. And a face that you couldn't get fucking tired of punching over and over.
Well, it is on the lips of a lot of people at the moment, the Tommy Robinson thing. Whether you love, hate, or agree, disagree. What do you think of the whole imprisonment thing and now being moved to the? Do you think the establishment are up for getting rid of him or?
Yes, because he's a twat. I dig what I like. This is one of the things that the left wingers currently are like. No. Like if you agree with him, then you're a racist. If you agree with the message, if you agree with any of his messages, you're a racist. Whoa, slow your roll there. Let's not say that. Why don't we say let's look at this? But on the flip side of that, Tommy Robinson just may have the right idea with this. However, he is a cunt.
Right.
But also, if there is a charge to be led, it shouldn't be led by him at all. In fact, he should be the ground that we all fucking stamp over to lead the charge because he is a cunt.
Right.
I can't wait until he releases the fucking Park Life song as well. Do you know, the worst thing I say about it is the way people fucking lord over him like he's the fucking people's princess.
Yeah.
Tommy Robinson is the working man's Diana. I swear to God. Like, the only difference is that he wouldn't have died in a car crash with a Muslim person. That's the only difference.
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic.
Maybe it's like homophobia. Maybe his secret thing is that he wants to marry a Muslim bloke and die in a car crash with them.
Right. Yeah. No, that's an interesting angle. Yeah, I like that. One thing. You keep referring, and I think it was this weekend was his. I hope I'm not misgendering your child's.
Well, that's the great thing about the word cunt. It's unisex.
Your child had a birthday this weekend. Is that correct?
He did, yeah. 7 years old.
Oh wow, 7 years. And sorry to be so out of the loop. Is it your only kid? This one?
I certainly hope so.
And it's your biological kid?
He is my biological. I certainly hope so.
And does he another $1 million question? Does he or does he not have a foreskin?
He does, and it's quite baggy like his father's.
Well, no, so it's quite baggy like his father's was. Yeah.
It's the only inheritance he's getting.
No, I remember. What did we have? Was it the Communards? But you know when you was at school. Well, when I was at school, we used to make up silly songs to go with modern pop songs, and it was a song about a foreskin. And what was it? Foreskin, drape your flabby foreskin, drape your flabby, drape your flabby foreskin, your flabby foreskin, ooh, your flabby foreskin, drape your flabby foreskin all over me. And I think it was one that
is a song I haven't heard before, but I feel like it's a cover that should be universally recognised better than the original. I'm trying to remember the original.
It does. I mean, you can hear that little. It does sound like an 80s, doesn't it? It sounds like the Human League or something like that. Not. I mean, how old are you? Did you live through the? Did you live through the 80s and remember it?
I'm 1985 man, so
Right.
in the middle of 1985. So I remember a little bit of it. Like when I grew up, I had the Amstrad, and we had this fucking. When I say
Fuck,
this
the
is funny thing when I
Amstrad.
say
You had the Amstrad.
the 80s fucking revival patterns, and it's like, wow, you cunts are wearing that. That was my wallpaper. The grey, black, and red stripes, the triangles. It was all jagged and fucking all over the place. Like, wow, that looks terrible.
Well, come on, you must have been from a well-to-do family to have an Amstrad. I mean, that was a middle-class computer to have. All the working class had like ZX Spectrums or something like that, didn't they?
Well, this is the funny thing about my family, David. We had everything. We had DVD player when it first came out. We had a NES. We were one of the first people to have a NES. You know, the original NES console when it first came out.
No, you don't mean
Sega Mega Drive, Game Boy, all these things, new TV when they came out. The only thing that let us down from being middle class was that all these things were stolen.
Right, right.
It's just a tick box. Just untick the box and we're middle class. You know, just forget about it. And technically, it's only a crime if you get caught.
Absolutely love it. Great stuff. So, I mean, your avatar is one of Darkstalkers. I remember I used to bunk off. I used to bunk off school and go down Soho, and I think that's the first time I played. It was just like Street Fighter, but it was. I don't know. The animations were good. The way that the vampire used to breathe, and the way that the werewolf would move, and the zombie would play. Wouldn't he play you like a guitar? One of his special moves was to pick you up and play you like a guitar.
There was like, I think as much as I chose Lord Raptor, my favourite one is Jeremiah.
Right.
Where he grabs you and sticks you to a fucking contract, like a soul contract. Like, and this is where I think the basis of shit like Mortal Kombat comes from.
Right.
Like any cunt can play some cunt like a guitar, but to stick you to a soul contract and fucking kill you, that's some next level. That follows you to the afterlife. You're fucking done.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah, I feel you with that one.
And as well, we all jacked it to Morrigan. Let's just be fair. We all jacked it to her. We all did.
Yeah, I was more the kitty one. The what was her name? Felicia.
Yeah, that's how we ended with furries, mate.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, it did lead down a very dark road, didn't it? That one.
Yeah, it's sad times, which is why we have 1,500 genders now. So Darkstalkers, both a blessing and a curse.
We're laying it at the feet of a Capcom, mate.
It was quite the Pandora's box.
It certainly was, yeah. Pandora's box, not to be mistaken for that box of chocolates that used to be on the TV that the secret agent used to come. What was that? The magic box, the dark box, the black box? No, I can't remember.
That's really not PC, mate. It's African American box. No,
I'm really out there. It's milk tray. It's all because the lady loves me. Yeah, do the James Bond thing, and then deliver the box of chocolates, and then shag her, and then just leave through the window. That was it. Yeah.
Cool. And then there was what black magic, like, oh, let's do something as similarly as weird, but we'll just release a panther into the room. Oh yeah, she'll be having a bath. There'll be a panther in the room. And what has that got to do with chocolate? I don't know. I've been smoking a whole bunch of crack today. Just we pay you too much to argue with you. Okay, it's fine.
Oh. You learn.
Dude, like, on the subject of expensive chocolate, like, do you remember when fucking Viennetta was classy ice cream?
Oh yeah, and it's one of the cheapest fucking chocolates on the shelves of Aldi now.
I still see it as classy ice cream. Like, fucking hell, Viennetta for £1. That's like gold for £1. Jesus Christ.
You've been stockpiling it, haven't you? You've dedicated a freezer to fucking stockpiling Viennetta. Should the apocalypse come?
Land in Alaska really cheap. I built a house out of Viennetta thinking it was like gold.
Right, yeah. You sort of did the whole American Russia purchase, but in reverse. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It makes me really sad that it's like, and Ben and Jerry's is nice, but it'll never be Viennetta.
No.
Ben and Jerry's is just fucking expensive.
Do you do what I do, which is to cut a big slice of Viennetta off, let it start to melt, and then get a big spoon and crush it all up crush everything up, crush it into a big pulp. So it's like it's just bits of chocolate in vanilla ice cream. Is it just me? No?
I used to do that
right.
up until I worked out a fabulous new trick is, a wooden spoon, like a cooking wooden spoon.
Yeah.
What I do is I take one of those, I open the Viennetta, I take the entire thing out of the packet, I ram the spoon into the middle, and then I walk around eating it. Like long ways, you eat it long ways.
Right.
Because it only cunts by chocolate chip cornettos when you could just eat a full Viennetta on a stick.
Yeah. No, I see that. Yeah. To be honest, the only tub of ice cream I've ever been able to eat entirely in the space of like 20 minutes has been the Haagen-Dazs Baileys.
Oh, see, now I don't really rate Haagen-Dazs. Like it just tastes like normal ice cream with, shit put in it.
Yeah, but the Baileys is something else, though. The Baileys really is something else. I mean, maybe I was just trying to get pissed, and obviously you need to eat about 20 tubs just to get a tiggle. But
I tell you what, mate, that rolls me on. So I was about to tell you my hard Oreo recipe. So what you do is you vodka, vodka Kahlua, 2 shots of each in a blender, 2 scoops of ice cream, and then you scrape 6 Oreos. You scrape the white stuff off of them. You put that in the blender. You put all the stuff in the blender. You blend it all together. You garnish in the glass with just the biscuits on their own.
Right.
And then you have a classy Oreo White Russian.
Right.
Now that leads me on to the second thing of trying to get a buzz off fucking milk drinks. I was out at a bar a little while ago. It was a student bar, and they were doing these thing called fucking zombies, which were just White Russians with ginger flavouring on top of it.
Right.
I don't know why White Russians all of a become zombies when you put ginger on them, but that's its own thing. The bar was fucking massively deep, and it was like, oh, buy 1 drink, get 1 free. So I was like, all right, well, I'll buy 2 White Russians and I'll get 2 free, and then I don't have to queue. So they gave me in because a picture is like 4 drinks, 4 cocktails. Oh, just give me it. After an hour, I was like, oh, come on, let's go hit up the club. I was like, oh shit, I haven't finished my drink. So I stood there necking this full jug of milk, not realising the terrible mistake I was making.
Right.
Oh, I'm not even lactose intolerant, but I think that night I was, because I've never felt as fucking poorly in my life.
Did you? You didn't do one of those, think you're gonna fart and follow through, did you? Because that sounds like a recipe. Necking a drink like that. About half an hour later, you think, my belly feels. Oh, I know. Here comes a fart. That'll make me feel better. And bam, you've made shepherd's pie, you niggers.
No, it was so bad. It was like hearing about a tsunami on the news that is coming 3 days later. So I preemptively got cramps. Like, oh, it's okay. We've got 3 hours of pain before this comes out.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
Right.
I mean, there was some screaming. There was a lot of screaming, but.
Oh no, I do that as well. A lot of people think I've had people in the house when I've been on the toilet, and unfortunately, my house is so full of crap. It's such like a hoarder's house. I can't actually, literally, because of all the things in the house, I can't close the toilet door. So people can hear, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment, but it's a fairly small one. So I'm there, especially after, because I like jalapenos and spicy things, and I'm sure they spit on the pizza and put their dirty hands all over it as they make it, and I can't stop buying from Papa John's. But I promised myself I'll never eat there again.
Is Papa John's any good? Because it came out here after Pizza Hut came over here, and we're like, oh great, Pizza Hut, and then Domino's came over, like, oh great, it's but less good. And then Papa John's has come over.
Yeah, they're all the fucking same. I'll tell you, they could do the Pepsi challenge on me, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between any of them. Anyway, to finish the story, it's nice because I've got the sink within sort of leaning distance, so I usually put my hand up and put rest my forehead on my forearm, and go. Because it feels like it feels like you're reverse being sick, like your intestines are heaving, and you're being sick out the other hole. I know that sounds really weird, but that's the only thing I can compare it to. like that whole contraction and heaving, and you're sick, but it's happening in the other direction. So I'm there.
No, I know what you mean. It's almost like your body wants more food just to shit out. The Cheerios, my fucking Lego hurt.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and it's like passing pieces of fucking Lego, isn't it? Especially when you've had lots of like big, because they don't digest them big peppers, and they're not CeeLo, and they just come out. They're just slightly different colour and slightly softer, but they come out complete. And
you become like the Yoshi of shitting. Shit egg. What's your purpose? To shit giant painful eggs.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, you're gonna do wonders for my hiatal hernia. Oh, this is too much. Right.
Yeah, I can feel my prolapse tickling.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to bring myself back down. Lots of deep breaths. Right, that's better. So, Jack, what I always ask, one of my main questions on this thing, what are your aspirations now, Jack? You've got your son, you've got your job, you live in Manchester, but you're a great fucking guy. You're a great guy. You're a funny guy. You've got so much personality. You've got so much character. There must be something like the story of Jack isn't over yet. Surely there's so much more for Jack to do.
I don't know. I kind of want to be an actor.
Right.
But not like any con actor. I kind of want to be that dude in the back of pornos. I just came here to fix the pipe.
Yeah, the one that's just like casually looking on while there's a sort of bestiality, multiracial, double penetration scene going on in the foreground.
Yeah, like the one who just sort of walks in and his dog being born, like, oh my god, with my sister. Oh, by the way, that's my Eastern European accent. If anyone out there is listening, I'm open for hiring.
Yeah, he's available for children's parties and bar mitzvahs. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I fucking hate my job. I really hate my job. No one should have I'm one of these. Do they call them dreamers? You know, the past the boomers or before the boomers. I'm one of the dreamers.
Right.
I don't believe that anyone should have to do anything they don't like for the rest of their life.
Yeah, in theory that sounds good.
Doing stupid shit until I find something that I like.
I mean, but I think that 90%. Possibly even over 90% of people who are actually sort of working don't like their jobs, or for the best part don't like that interview I done with Eleanor. And there's people getting back to me saying, how could she be unemployed for 4 years? And she simply doesn't want to do things that she doesn't want to do. And I suppose if you're in a position to do that, sure, you don't do it then, and you remain unemployed. Not all of us obviously have that luxury. For instance, you don't really have that luxury because you've got a son for a start.
Yeah.
And you'll think, fuck me, I've got to make ends meet somehow.
And by the way, Eleanor, if you're listening to this, when I say I hate the poor. And I don't hate all the poor. You're one of the poor I don't hate.
No. It's all right. She lives with her mum in a mansion in Brighton. You're quite all right.
I don't hate you, and you don't hate me because you've not met me yet. But if you ever do, that will change.
No. She still is absolutely gorgeous. I remember her from the sort of conventions and the cosplay days, and she was absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, I hope she really does find her calling. I mean, a lot of the people you speak to.
If she's that gorgeous, then there's always the porn, and then
I
could just be in the background. We'll be
that's it. I'm gonna hook you two up.
We'll hook up. She does the sex scenes. I do with my sister, and then
I'll give you a few pointers on the Eastern European accent there. In fact, the last guest, Liga. I don't know if you probably haven't had a chance to listen to that one. I think I only done it yesterday. She's from Latvia, and hearing her story for the first time. Being abandoned and foster family, and the mum, and then finally meeting with the dad, and then just finally escaping from Latvia, coming over here, and I mean, she's quite a character. She's really, really high energy, And a lot of people think she's sort of mad the way she runs around, but she's just so hot. I mean, you could shoot her with a tranquilizer dart, and it wouldn't even phase. You know, you'd need one of those big, you know, the ones that they tranquilize marine mammals with. One of those.
That's not a very nice thing to say.
No, I don't mean because she's big. She's quite a petite.
I know, man. I know.
She's quite a petite woman, Liga. She's quite a petite, but she's got high energy levels just through the roof. You know, the last thing you need, Mr. Pink, is another cup of coffee. You know, one of those. She's, but yeah, it was really interesting talking to her about, you know, who she is and you know how she got to where she is. And I think probably a lot of people understand her a lot more if they listen to that interview. But that's by the by. So, when was the last convention you went to, Jack?
It was probably MCM Manchester about 4 years ago, maybe.
Wow, 4 years.
It was just shit.
Yeah.
We queued. Like, I don't even think we paid for a ticket. We queued to pay for a ticket. It was 3 hours. The MCM scene has just become a total fucking meat market for cash. You know, the stuff they have on is minimal. The stalls they have are maximum. It's all fucking dollar, and I don't give a shit anymore. Like, I went down there to go look at interesting costumes, and I got that from not paying a ticket.
Right. The last MCM I went to was last October.
Yeah.
And I got fucking assaulted for my troubles.
In a sexual way, or just?
Well, that would have been a little bit more pleasurable. It was. I started training again. Sort of got to a good level and went as a barbarian. And I was doing the usual rambunctious thing. I don't know. I might have been quoting Shakespeare and doing my usual Brian Blessed thing in the pub. And a guy came up and started. Apparently, he was really drunk. His friends had left because he was, you know, a bit too. And he had a row with his girlfriend. So he's probably looked across at me and thought, right, there's a big bloke. Let me go and. To cut a long story short, as I've told him to fuck off and turned away, he's grabbed me around the waist, pulled me over. I've smashed my head on the bench because it's all like all the benches and wooden stuff. I've smashed my head on the bench, cut me completely up and pissing blood. And he's tried to sort of really choke me. So he's got his arm around me and he's squeezing. And I'm thinking, is this happening? Is he having a joke? Is he just tripping? And then I can sort of feel the blood and I can see the blood because it's sort of everywhere. So I managed to sort of turn round because I'm slippery as fuck, covered in claret, and so I'm on top of him now, and I'm Tyler Durdening him, you know, bleeding all over him at a Fight Club. Managed to sort of get my arms on his hand and say, "For fuck's sake, what are you doing, you lunatic?" And people have started to come over, maybe think we're sort of having fun. And I say, "Can everyone get this fucking lunatic off me?" So they've come over, they've taken him apart. He's ranting and raving, still trying to get at me. I said, "You complete cunt." I said, "I'll tell you what, not often I call the police, but I said, I'm fucking call the police up." Police arrive. 6 witnesses say, yeah, he did it. He just attacked me for no reason. And then he admitted it to the police. "Oh, I don't know why I attacked him, I just did." And it's still going through the courts. That was in October.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Some people just can't handle the beer, mate. That's what it is.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it.
I mean, you're a fucking big bloke, mate. They see you and think, right, I've got a dick to measure up against. And the thing is, he's probably got a tiny dick. That's what it is. He's gone over you, and he'll go in his cell, look down at his pants and gone, "Still small." Wrestling the big bloke didn't make it grow.
Do you think he's circumcised? Do you think he's still got his foreskin?
You see, this is why I'm a pacifist. Because when I walk, it drags on the floor.
Fantastic.
Right, man, I know this is going on, but I need to go for a pee. I really need to. Yeah. This is my own fault for drinking loads of lager whilst doing this. No, be my guest. I'll assassinate your character while you're gone. Fantastic. Yeah, good luck. because I've been doing it for decades.
Fantastic, mate. And that's Jack Jack Vane, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't seen him for years and years and years and years. And didn't know him too well, even when I did see him. But a great guy. Oh, that's not done me any good, all that laughing. That's all. So if anyone does want to participate, come on Out of the Ordinary for a good old interview, good laugh, talk about whatever. Please do get in touch. And we sort something out. It's nice to meet people in person when we do the interview, but obviously proximity constraints and so on, so that the internet exists, and I utilise it as such. And as you can hear, Jack's in Manchester, I'm in London. I'm having a jolly nice interview, my dear. Dear Johnny. How I yearn to tread the balls again, my dear. Ah, fucking hell, man. This is the place, I'm telling you, Jack. This is the place, man.
What?
This is the place, I'm telling you. You know what they say? They say that the heart of England's in the south, but the soul's in the north. You know what I mean?
Plenty of soul, mate. Plenty of soul.
Plenty of fucking soul. Northern, they call it Northern Soul.
Northern Soul. Up north. Where we breed with it.
Nice.
I'm just kidding, we fuck them.
I thought that was ferrets.
Well, they go in the back.
It sounds like some sort of really weird multi-species human caterpillar episode, doesn't it?
Well, we've got the internet, mate. We have to try harder these days. You know, just normal bestiality doesn't work anymore.
No, true enough. I would totally agree there. So are you still...
When going back to the aspirations thing, one of the things that I still do, like one of the career things, like I'm obviously working as a fucking peon, cash generator, but I also do the clothing as well, the latex clothing. I've been doing that for a few years.
Ah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I remember you turning up in a really otherworldly creation.
Nice.
I remember you turning up in a really otherworldly creation, that latex once, with the sort of almost like hair, the latex hair coming out the top, like a big sort of top knot ponytail that you turned. I can't remember exactly what you was, but you looked you really did look otherworldly, yeah.
I can't remember. The only one I can remember.
White latex. I think it was white latex. White latex you was in.
James from Team Rocket.
Right.
And the outfit was sound. The outfit was fucking spot on. The £3 purple wig that I bought to do James's hair wasn't so much.
What, £3?
And I turned up with a rose in my hand, not a Pokeball, a rose.
Right.
Like, why the fuck are you carrying a rose? James has a Pokeball. Like, yeah, but he's got a rose in his hand when he does the scenes. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, your stupidity is not my problem. It's the fact that your mother fucked her own brother. Oh, you do me a mischief, Jack. You really do. Now, you said a £3 wig. Did you mean £3 in weight, or £3 in money? I would carry a £3 in weight wig. It wouldn't have been an issue if it had been good, mate. It's a market wig. And I still think I overpaid.
Oh, good lord. One of those made in China Poundland wigs, were they?
Do you know what it is, mate? When I'm looking at it, I think people in China would have looked at me like, what the fuck is this?
That's Western decadence for you, Jack. That really is.
I saw you. I finally got to see your Lobo cosplay, man. It was fucking fierce.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, no, that was the first time I think I met you, wasn't it?
No. Like that was my first cosplay that you met me in. No, I did the Lobo, and you were telling me about it. When I met you, you were Wolverine.
Ah. Right.
And still to this day, mate, you are the Wolverine to me. I have seen so many other cosplayers, and I see them online, and they look fucking cool. Like, yeah, but it's just not Wolverine, though, is it?
Fantastic. I'll tell you what. There was that lass, God bless her, who came down to see me all the way from Manchester. A friend of yours. What was her name again?
Which one? There was a few of them.
No, but there was only one that came to see me.
Fucking Rachel.
That's it, Rachel, bless her soul. Yeah, Rachel. Yeah, she came all the way down to see me.
Yeah.
And when we finally met at the station, obviously I wasn't dressed as Wolverine, and she looked so disappointed. And I said, no, I'm not always, I don't always have the claws and the hair and the sideburns. There's a lot of the Wolverine cosplayers do. Like, there's a guy who's in his 40s now who still goes to work dressed as Wolverine.
And the truth is, I bet even at work they still refer to him as Wolverine, right? But it's like, you're right there, Wolverine. How's it going, mate? What a twat.
You're probably spot on there, mate. Spot on.
I still think one of the best cosplays I ever did, I mean, the Lobo one was pretty fucking fierce, was a Deadpool one. Now, I know Deadpool's been done by fucking everyone, but this was done when the Deadpool game came out, and it was just the mask.
Oh, right, yeah.
Did you see it? It was just me in the mask.
Yeah, I remember it now, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, just sat there naked in the mask playing the Deadpool game.
What did you think of the game? What did you think of the actual game?
Story amazing, gameplay generic, but then again, if you Deadpool isn't about Deadpool is all about aesthetic. It's not about the mechanics, and that goes with the comics as well. I mean, they seem to be really fleshing him out a lot more, but I don't know if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
It's like what they tried to do with Lobo, with the new 52.
Oh, yeah.
Like Lobo was perfect the way he was. He was a send up. It was perfect. And then they were like, oh no, that wasn't the real one. We've got this new sleek, new 52, rebranded for 2015, 2016, rebranded to be all new assassin type. Like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, I don't think it lasted that long, did it? I think we reverted pretty soon back into the old Wolverine, the old Lobo that we all know and love.
I think the bit that I hated about it most is that the first issue was him killing the real Lobo. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, decapitating him and then
This Lobo is a character who God and Satan didn't want. Like, the only reason he's immortal is no one will take him.
Yeah.
But this fucking mime gay pride strumpet. I'm gonna stick you with my laser lightsaber. No, absolutely. And they remade his hook. They remade his hook to be a laser hook.
Oh.
Why would a laser hook be good?
Yeah.
Even like the hook was a terrible choice of weapon for him anyway. It was there because he's such a savage creature. Oh, let's just do that, but as a laser. Why though?
Yeah. So I mean, again, I think it sort of pandered a little bit to the sort of emo, non-gender specific, and it's a thing you've always, if you don't mind me saying, Jack, you've always straddled the realms of sexuality to me. You're like this sexual beast who would sort of who would do anything that come along. And again, I've pitched so many $1 million questions. Have you ever been a botter or a bottee in your life? Because I know it up north, if you're a botter, you're not considered gay, are you? So you can bot away. If you're a bottee, then you're considered gay.
I have never heard that phrase, but I get where you're going. Now, the way, like, I've had this question a whole bunch. The way I've pitched it is, when it comes to sexuality, if you want to pick one of the really boring, like, oh, I want to like this is when I was growing up, it was all about don't label me.
Right.
I don't want labels. I'm my own thing. Don't label me. And that was for my sort of generation of alternative people for whatever I was doing. Don't label me. I don't want to be labeled. I want to be something different. I'm my own thing. And it just seems like now people are like, I want you to get your fucking dynamo gun out and label every tiny fucking aspect of my person. Oh, I stubbed my toe, that's a bit of sexuality. Look at my finger, it's racist.
Right,
right. And it's just that sort of, when it comes to that sort of thing, and you're asking me that, I've never been straight, I've never been gay, I've never been bisexual.
Lovely.
I am just a victim of circumstance.
Yeah. Love it. But I'm glad. Hopefully, you'll log them as words in your vocabulary now. Remember them well. Yeah, but they're very London words around town here. The botter and the botty, of course. And
see, the new one that I heard was I got asked if I was on the bus. Like,
I've heard that one. Yeah, it's usually on the other bus. Oh, did you take the other bus? Or my favourite one was again a very sort of high society London one is do you bowl from the pavilion end?
To which the response is, nah mate, I fuck below.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good response.
I'll go back to earlier. No, I suck a dick for crack rock.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, no, they're both valid answers and valid responses.
I really think that we should do you know how there was the whole we're taking it back with black people taking back the N-word or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was I kind of feel like we need to. I don't want gay people to take back some of the gay phrases. I want everyone to take them back and rebrand them. like Walt Disney. Walt Disney was a massive fucking racist. He hated fucking Jewish people and whatever. But he was rebranded to Mickey Mouse. Could we not do that with the phrase shirtlifter or uphill gardener? If you're an uphill gardener, that just means rather than mean you're gay, could we not rebrand it to mean you're stupid? Because surely the clever way to garden is downhill because you're using gravity to help you.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I'm still pissed off about them taking the word gay. Have a gay day, and gay was. Mr. Burns is a perfect example. He uses it with want and abandon, not knowing the implications and that it triggers Paul Wayland Smithers. I think that's about the full fucking Simpsons reference I've made tonight. I'm obsessed, aren't I, with the Simpsons?
Especially since Futurama is clearly the better show. Let's check around
well, it was Jurassic Park with the dog. That really cheered me up. That did. That's one of the only cartoons that did that. I love that episode.
Have you seen the whole thing to do with fucking a poo?
Oh, what a fuck! And the poor Hank Azaria, who I really like. He just, he was on telly and he was just. You can tell he was just reading the letter his solicitor had written him.
Oh yeah, the whole thing read like in one of those fucking ISIS gun to the head videos.
Yeah.
They will not harm us. What's all the blood in your face then? We're being looked after. They look malnutritious. They are feeding us.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm saying is that Matt Groening is part of ISIS.
Oh, do you reckon? Yeah, well... He's certainly
he's one of those sleeper agents. He's going to come out and his real name is Matinda Gurdesh. I swear to God.
Matinda Gurdesh. Well, he's certainly... I'll tell you what, he's worth a few bob, hasn't he, now, Groening, with the fucking franchise and the amount of stuff and especially when it says developed by. I think James Elbert. What is developed by? But does that mean we just look, we're going to put them on here for the next 30 years and give them just keep giving them money because they help. We got stoned one night and we just all sat around and threw ideas at each other. I mean, there's some fantastic, some absolutely fantastic script writers for Simpsons, and a lot of people it was never good after season 8. Well, yeah, it's pretty hard to remain funny. What are they in there, 30th season now? And it's still fun. It's still funny.
I think where they really started struggling with it is when, they obviously had to compete with South Park, but then they never really had to compete them because they were in 2 different leagues.
Right.
South Park was its own thing. Simpsons was its own thing. They never really crossed paths.
Right.
And then Family Guy came out, which was the bastard love child of South Park and Simpsons, and that's when Simpsons writers were like, okay, we need to address this because we just aren't funny anymore.
Right.
We now actually have some competition. I remember when Simpsons went through its experimental dark phase where they tried to compete with Family Guy, and it was just in such poor taste. Like I can laugh at really horrendous jokes. A lot of the time, but this was just one of the ones where Mo goes back to bartending school.
Oh yeah.
And the joke was it was with his mentor, and it was the end of the episode, and his mentor was just stood there, and it was like they were chatting about something, and he was like, "Oh, I have cancer," and I was like, "Oh," and then he walks into the river by the monuments, and it was like,
"Yeah,
I'm waiting for the joke."
Yeah, but
like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, there was that lovely because he says to Mo. He says to Mo, "Oh, I've got cancer," and Mo sort of looks down and obviously he's at a loss for words, and he says, "Well, if there's anything I can do," and the guy says, "Oh, well, if you've got a cure for cancer, that would be nice. You don't have a cure for cancer, do you?" And Mo just looks away, and that's when he turns his back and just walks off into as you said, into the lake and disappears.
But the whole thing felt really, really forced. It was like, we should probably start doing jokes about this now because Family Guy are doing jokes about it, and it's like,
what's your favourite one then out of all? I mean, we're putting them all in the same bag, of course. But what you see, I'll take a hazard a guess and say you're a South Park guy.
Yeah, I mean, like. South Park was the big nasty when I came out, so it was one of those things when I was growing up of my parents didn't know that it was a bad cartoon because there was no such thing as bad cartoons, even though at this point I'd already been watching all of the anime that was on Channel 4 late at night, all of the really sick shit that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
So South Park came out, it was full of swear words, it wasn't like any cartoon I'd really watched before. And even to this day, they still find ways to poke fun and be massively offensive. So like there was this whole lull where there was one season where they got really political and it got a little bit dull. It was still pretty funny, but then after that, I remember I think it wasn't the last season, it was the season before where they were doing the whole season 2 with political correctness, but the first episode was about PC Principal coming in. And Eric Cartman having a problem with him.
Right.
And the episode ends with Eric Cartman being stifled, who is the major push of the non-PC jokes.
Yeah. Mm.
The very last 5 minutes episodes is Mexican immigrant children being sent into the PC household. Like, oh my God, fire the tacos! Send the immigrant children, and then they release Jared from Subway into the house to molest the kids. And it was like, even after all this time, you're still doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that might be a.
What's your favourite one, man? What's your favourite one?
Yeah, no, I think I've shown my colours tonight. It's got to be Simpsons for me. I mean, because I remember the airing of the very first episode, and I was there, and you know, I still tell people, and they don't believe me, that I, as a 5-year-old kid, I went to see Star Wars for the very first time in the big. I think We Will Rock You, the musical's there now, but it used to be a cinema, the Dominion on Tottenham Court Road, and to see Darth Vader for the very first time on the big screen when you're 5 years old is quite, but without any spoilers, no one, you know, that gravitas and that, it's still with me. It still reverberates. Today. What an episode in my life.
What do you reckon?
Episode 4. In fact, they're all shit, aren't they? I mean.
Well, I mean, like this is quite a controversial thing, but Donald Glover coming out and saying that what's his fucking name?
Lando Calrissian.
That's the one. I've had too many beer. Yeah, Lando Calrissian. Donald Glover saying, well, yeah, of course we're pansexual. What do you reckon to that?
Pansexy, again, as you say, all these fucking labels. Pansexual. What the fuck does that even mean? Does that mean he fancies any life form he'd fuck any life form in the galaxy?
Yeah, so basically Captain Kirk.
Right. Yeah. Captain Kirk is a good example of that. Lock onto the strongest power source. It should be the power generator. Yeah, he'd be putting on his fucking condom or rolling back his foreskin if he's got one. you know, ready to lock onto the strongest power source.
But there was all this fucking I've bitched about left wing right an awful lot, but like let's go the other way, right wing backlash. Like, oh my god, we're gonna boycott this because Donald Glover said that, you know, Lando Calrissian would be pansexual. Well, it makes sense that it'd be pansexual because he's fucking aliens.
Yeah. I mean, there is that whole left, right, and the right trying to say this, the left trying to say that. I mean, I like people said about
this kit. It's some he said, she said bullshit.
Yeah, but it's like Mad Max. Everyone was, it's a load of feminist propaganda, it's bollocks. But I really fucking enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film.
And do you know what it is, right? Like, I really dig the Mad Max film because, like, on one hand, yeah, it was canon, it was good. Tom Hardy did a really good job, but also it was he was an amazing jump off point for a lot of other interesting characters with more interesting stories than "Oh, my wife's dead."
Sure, yeah. No, it was good. It had big swinging hairy bollocks and a lovely shaved minge as well. That film, I mean, it did. It appealed to me on all different levels, and I really enjoyed the Mad Max film, regardless of, you know, all the naysayers and it's feminist propaganda, it's bullshit. Yeah, no. I'll tell you what, we've just. I'd love to go on for another hour, but we've gone over. We have gone over. We've got to do another interview. hopefully this is. We'll go viral, Jack. We'll get our own show. They'll be phoning us on there. It's been far too long since I had a really sort of conversation. In fact, I don't think we've ever had a sat down and had a conversation this long. So, if you're up for it, I'm definitely up for a part 2 with you.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely.
Yeah, and obviously, you. Time constraints a little bit with the sun, but if we can sort of make it a 10 o'clock thing, we can certainly get down and dirty.
Or even I can have you on some of my YouTube stuff as well.
Oh, definitely. I'm totally up for that, mate. Anything that you want me to do, and I mean anything. Well,
that's good because I've got this massive fire extinguisher that we talked about.
Yeah, your mic sounds pretty good as well.
It fucking should do for £100.
No, I mean in terms of doubling as a dildo.
It's nice. It's very nice.
Nice.
And again, my Eastern European accent is very, very.
Fantastic. Okay, Jack, I'm going to put it to an end, and I'm going to say thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I don't think I've laughed this hard in a very long time. Hopefully the people listening to it will do exactly the same. I don't know. I'm sort of hoping that, you know, a few of them will sort of knock one out while listening to this. But I'm sure we're pretty sexy guys, aren't we? You know, it's.
Well, I know that I did, so that's.
That's what the going for the piss was halfway through. All right, mate. God bless you, and I'll speak to you soon, hopefully.
All right, mate. In a bit. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye.